Now is the time to check your medical. You haven't done it in a long time. Piney Prepper had a situation where his dog kind of lost it and attacked him. And he ended up with big bites all over him, and he had to get antibiotics or whatever. I mean, your medical kit you should be able to grab instantly, within seconds. You shouldn't be rifling through a drawer or trying to find things you need. This particular medical kit sits on the back of my seat of my truck. This has a pull tab. You just rip it off and off you go. On the front, I have two tourniquets with a pair of scissors and a knife, and the tourniquets are staged. If you don't know what that is, then you need to YouTube that and find out more about tourniquets. Tourniquets are designed to be used in an instant. You can't wait 10 minutes. You can't take the plastic off. You can't screw around, or you'll be laying there with a tourniquet in your hand. You'll be dead. So that's very important. Why the knife? The knife is there if I got to cut away clothing, and I need to do it quickly. I need to see what I'm doing. Tourniquet there is if I see blood coming, I need to shut it down quick. Is what I need to do. Inside this fairly large bag, okay, if it doesn't kind of pop out on me, is I have a round ace band-aid. You can use this to prevent bleeding, stop bleeding. You can put a big gauze on, then wrap it down tight. These are 4x4 gauzes, is what those are. These are for packing. So if you take a bullet or you get a large hole in you and somebody gets a knife or a round pipe or something stuck in them and then the moron pulls it out, you take this and you just start shoving it in the hole and packing it. Is what you do. Because we want to stop that bleeding, right? This is Celex Gauze. This is last resort, is what this is. Okay? When you apply this, the blood's gonna it's gonna do things that you've never seen. When you get somebody to the hospital, if you've used this, they're gonna have to clean that wound out. And it's gonna be very, very painful for them. So when you use this, you got to make a decision. Is it life or death? Because I really don't want to use this on somebody if I don't have to. Over here, this is a chest seal. It comes with two. If you take a bullet to the chest, it's referred to as a sucking chest wound. You shove one, it's like a big sticker you put on the front, big sticker you put on the back so they're not sucking air. Another packing wound is what I got here. So I got two of those. This is an O'Reilly bandage. Again, the more of these you have, the better. You can't have too many. I have different types of pills to help with pain, multiple rubber gloves, more packing wound, band-aids. I do have a few little things in here is what I have. More gauze. Now, let me talk about those in a minute. I have a really good emergency blanket, not a cheap one. When a person loses blood, they get cold. Okay? You want to warm them up. So one of those is very good. Now, again, more rubber gloves. This is a recent addition to my equipment. You can get these at a medical clinic. Sometimes people that are disabled, that are taking heavy duty pain pills, are prescribed these. You can buy them too. But basically, it's a nasal spray. And if somebody does an overdose, okay, hopefully it brings them back. It doesn't always work. Now, I left it in the package on purpose because you want to keep it as sterile as possible. You take it, you rip it open, pull the cap, stick it up their nose, push the plunger like a needle, and hopefully they wake up. If they don't, you wait a few minutes, you do it again. And that's why I've got, a few of these inside my medical pack. Most of the time, it's used for people on drugs. It wasn't something I was carrying in my medical kit until this year. And I'm seeing more and more people that are on meth, cocaine, more and more people that are overdosing. We're just seeing it, and that's it. I'm even seeing accidents happen with young kids. And we had a situation here where a 12-year-old had a horrible headache, and he decided to take 4 little pills, which I forget what they were. They were a heavy-duty pain pill. And he thought because they're so small that he would need more than one. Well, he took 4. Within hours, he had to be raced to the hospital. They used these. They had to use 2. And that's when they knew it was drugs. But he didn't take them because he was a drug addict. He took it because he had a headache. He'd seen his parents take aspirin and thought all drugs are the same. Little kids don't know. It doesn't necessarily mean you're carrying this because somebody's a drug addict. They're going to come in handy for a lot of other things, so keep that in mind. This is my oh my god kit, and it gets ripped off the back of my truck and it gets taken to me. My son knows, my wife knows. I had a very deep conversation. Do you see that? Do you see where it is? That's what I'm asking for. I also carry a sling bag, which carries a lot of other stuff. That is the bag that comes to me second. The sling bag comes to me if I get a whole bunch of holes in my skin. One of my dogs attack me, like what happened to Piney Prepper. This is what happens too. I have 4 medical bags. Okay, so I have this one. I have my sling bag that sits in the back seat of my truck. And you also have to pay attention that your truck gets pretty hot, so you can't have stuff like liquid stuff, like liquid Band-Aid and stuff like that. Probably isn't good for the heat. You have to consider that. Now, this stuff takes time. It costs money. It's not cheap. I didn't have it all at the same time. Okay, like chest seals and things like that. I bought a little bit here, a little bit there. And everything that I wanted to put in here was for heavy, heavy bleeding. I do have in a small pack over here. In here, I have some Band-Aids, some aspirin, super glue. I do have a few things in that small package there. And, I come across a little kid that's crying. I can open that and put a Band-Aid on it, make them feel all better. And, because every situation is different, you should have a little bit of everything. Now, I do have little packages of antibiotics. I do have certain things like that. But like I said, this is for something major. My sling bag has more of, type of boo-boos. But, and mainly this kit is for me and my family. It's not to take care of other people. And that's a big thing. Like, I seen a video on a woman in Ukraine, and she was a nurse, and she was talking about tourniquets. Okay, is what she was talking about. And one lady asked the other one, she said, well, what if I don't have a tourniquet? She says, well, if I'm feeling nice, I might use one of mine or let you use one of mine. But understand, mine are what keeps me alive. Now, I keep multiple tourniquets in my truck. This is not all I have. In my sling bag, I have another 6 tourniquets. You can never have too many, is what I have. The kit's not designed to come across some multiple car crash, and there's people and everybody's in bad shape. It's not designed for that. My kits are designed for me and my family. I'm not somebody that works I'm not an EMT. I'm not somebody that works for these places. And that's just the way it is. But I want to make sure we're safe, is what I want to make sure of. And again, I'll touch on this. This is the name of it. You can pick it up. You can carry it. You might have to pay $50 to get it. Or if you know somebody that's taking heavy-duty pain pills, they're prescribed it by their doctor, so they get it for like $3. They might give you some. Sometimes it's free at medical places. It's all different in every state. But you should carry stuff like that. Another thing I carry that's inside my sling bag is what's the name of those needles you stick in you when your mother gets bit by a bee? EpiPen? Yeah. In my other sling bag, I carry an EpiPen. Now, the reason I carry an EpiPen, we have them kind of scattered around the house. One's in the bunker, one's in the house, one's in my vehicle, one's in my wife's vehicle. They're not cheap. But the reason I carry those is because if my wife gets bit by a bee, she's dead. She has to have an EpiPen as quickly as possible inserted into her hip. And that's very, very important. When summer comes, I don't have flowers planted in my yard whatsoever. And that's to keep the bees and those particular insects away from her. There are parts in the yard I have flowers planted, and that's to pull the bees away from the front yard in case she's sitting on the porch. So your lifestyle is going to dictate what you actually do. But if anything, I noticed right off the bat, and Piney Pepper was very upset that his dog was sent back to the place he got it at, because you can't really have it around with little kids when a dog just loses it like that. He didn't have proper medical kit. He didn't say anywhere in the video we had to run and get our medical kit. It was a big thing that he did not have. I even noticed in another video when I was talking about winter storms and I was re-outfitting my truck and looking at things that I wish I didn't have, that I now have, that he said he had his tow rope inside another vehicle. It wasn't even in his truck. It sounds to me he has a lot of stuff, but he's not organized. And what good is the stuff if you're not organized? You have to be organized in everything you do. When I set up my backpack, weight is a big factor. Now I can't take just about everything I want as the kitchen sink for EMT. I got to be choosy. And the situation becomes worse. Buying titanium, learning different skills, all this comes into play. I don't want my pack being 80 pounds. My pack has to be 40 pounds or less, period. And that's even heavy. So, organization is probably the biggest thing that you need to really consider and get yourself in check. Pull your medical supplies out and take a look at what's going on. Which bag is for instant? Which bag is for a shooter? Which bag is for, even make a little Walt Disney bag that's for little kids, and You could just simply say, to your son or your daughter, you could say, go get me the Walt Disney medical kit. We need to fix her up. And she's crying because she fell down and scraped her knees. It's all psychological. It's to make her feel better. Anyhow, I urge you to get organized and to go and take a look at your medical stuff and really look into adding this to your medical kit, because this will save a life. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.